Hey, thank you for coming by, Tori Magoo 44. Today is what is the date today? It is March 2nd. Believe it or not, February came and went. I know I always say it, but it always blows my mind how fast time goes along. It's just too much. But today was an interesting day for me because I voted. And I wanted to tell you, in case you had an experience like this, how it sorted out. Okay, first of all, the place where I vote, I've voted since 1982. I've been there every year voting. I'm registered, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Months ago, I went and got the real ID. So now I come in to vote, and they say, did you bring your sample ballot? Which I didn't know you were supposed to, so I didn't. And he said, well, do you have your driver's license? And I said, I do. And he held up the driver's license to some barcode reader, and he said, nothing's coming up. Anyway, long story short, he finally types in my name, all the information, and he goes, nope, you're not really registered here, but we have a provisional registration thing we can do with you. And I said, well, what does that mean? And he said, well, that's not going to be counted for 30 days, but then it'll be counted. And I said, no, I don't want to do that. No, that's not, I'm not someone that's going to be voting in 30 days. I'm here today, and I want to vote today. So anyway, long story short, I go to the next guy. He says the same thing. They're both young kids. They're positive they're right. There's nothing you can do. And I said, really? I said, okay, who's the manager here? And there were about 6 people. I mean, it was crowded. It was at one of the libraries, and it was pretty crowded. There were a lot of people. But it wasn't too many that I was holding anybody up. And I said, look, I want to talk to the manager. So I get to the manager, quite an elderly man, very nice. And he said, no, we can handle it. In the meantime, I talked to another lady who said, you know what, it has been a disaster here all day long. We have had problems with people and registration and voting, and their names aren't coming up and stuff like that. Now, the reason I'm telling you isn't for you to say, oh, well, then I'm not even going to try to vote. No, it's the opposite. We all have to stay on this and get this thing sorted out so that it works, and it works systematically, or someone gets on it and fixes it, because it shouldn't just be like, well, that's the way it is, it doesn't work. No. And so I was there. Anyway, long story short, 2 people had tried to give me these provisional voting things that are pink. And I said, no, I don't want a pink thing. I want to vote. I want to vote today on the machine. So the older man finally sorted it out. And even then, it kept coming up mechanically on his computer saying I was nothing. I wasn't either party. I was a non-something, whatever they call it. And I said, that's not true. That's not what I do. And he said, yeah, I know, but that's what's coming up. That's what the other 2 guys kept saying. Even though they wrote in one thing, they'd say, oh, this is what's coming up. So now I say to the manager, no, that isn't what I told you. And it should come up, if you type it in, it should come up what it is. I mean, it was just very weird how much I had to put into this just to get to vote the right way, right? So finally it all comes up. He by now realizes the system's a bit screwed up. So he says, I'll walk you over to the computer, make sure you understand how to get it done. Because it was a little bit different than, I'd never voted like that before. It's all digital and everything like that. Anyway, he helped me. I got it done. Even then, the candidate that I wanted didn't show up on any of the pieces of the digital things. And so again, I raised my hand. I said, could you get me some help? And a lady comes over, and I said, look, the candidate that I want to vote for isn't even on this page. And she said, oh yeah, see that little more thing way at the bottom? You have to click on the more thing, and then it'll come up. And it did. And then I voted for the candidate I wanted to vote for. And then are you happy with it? I mean, it's kind of good in that sense. It shows you everybody you voted for and what you voted for, and are you happy with your voting? Okay, send, and then it goes in. But I just wanted to let you know, people were giving out these pink provisional voting things like they were cotton candy, and most people were not complaining. It was just like, oh, okay, I'll fill it out, I'll do that, and it'll go in 30 days. And they were making it sound like it was totally fine. When I told the manager that, he said, no, that's not supposed to be at all. And I said, well, can you make sure that someone today, while I'm here, goes over and tells those guys? Because I was really ticked off that they were, screwing up and positive they were right. And this other young kid came by and he goes, "Oh, don't even bother with those two. I mean, they're just big know-it-alls and they're positive, they're right." And I said, that might work in school or in college or with your buddies, but it doesn't work at a polling place where it's supposed to be a very systematic thing that works. And if they're not doing it right and you know there's something they're doing wrong, one of the managers should be able to tell them and correct it. Don't you agree? And he said, yeah, true. So then the manager said, yeah, let's get it handled. So then he sent a lady over and I went to make sure she actually talked to them. And they both finally got it. And I said, look, if you guys don't understand something, just ask them because they've been here for years. They know how to do this. So anyway, that was my voting experience. I finally got to vote. I voted. Here's my I voted sticker. And I enjoyed it. I'm happy I did it. I feel good about it. I really do. And like I said, if you have troubles with it, just push on through with it. See a manager. Make sure you get what should happen. And the other thing is for young people, it's very, very important that you guys get on this because you're going to inherit this world. You know, we're on the other end of the slopes on this, but you guys are just getting there. You know, you're building your new world. And whether you like this system or not, and until you change it, please make sure you go vote. Because part of why, you know, the people that a lot of us wanted to get voted for didn't get voted in was because a lot of people didn't vote. Because they were like, nah, I don't like either of them. And I'd always say, then that's a vote for Trump. And many, many people would say, no, I don't want Donald Trump. And I'd say, well, if you don't want Donald Trump, then you better vote. And I mean that. It's time to vote. It's time to do it. Make sure you do. And that's all I have to say for today. That was my hot adventure. But I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.